Oh yeah. So another part. You know what's actually kind of funny is that I don't know funny, but I'm just saying. After Friday night when we were turning everything off and going home, we left. I used both of my harvesters, my new one and my one that I've had since 2011, and they were left on all night. And they have a timer, so they go off every minute and a half. They were left on all night, and remember, it rained that morning. And what's funny is that they're not even broken at all. They still fully work, and like yet a lot of other things don't work. They just naturally got broken. Um, so it's just weird to see something like my original harvester out of all, how much it's been used, and yet it still works. And then the new one I got still works. Of course, the new one. Well, they're both actually 2011 models, but their faces look pretty different. Um, but it's just to me, it's just ironic how they actually still work, even though they were left on all night, going continuously, pretty much all night, every few minutes, every minute and a half. I mean. And like I said, the thing that I enjoy the most about doing these things is just seeing people have a good time. Like families have a good time, kids having a good times with their family. That's kind of what I mean. That's kind of what we all kind of enjoy about it. It's just like I said, we didn't have a lot of time to talk to people. Actually, it's funny. Lucas's uncle always has this microphone with big speakers, so he talks to the audience and the people there. He says really random and stupid and funny stuff on it. It's kind of funny. And then they played Sweet Caroline, and he said everybody sing. And the I don't know. It's a really fun family. Like they actually kind of consider me family at this point. Um, all of I mean my, this is really off subject, but my grandpa is actually going to be in the hospital because he has prostate cancer, and he may or may not make it. And so when I told Don about that, like Lucas's whole family made my grandpa a card and wrote prayers and all that stuff on it, and it was really nice. See, like they're really nice people. And they hauled all my stuff from the storage unit and all the way back. They actually, well, I think you saw some of the videos. They he used like when we were taking it back, we used this big trailer truck, and we hauled them all across town, and people were looking from the cars and laughing. Like we had that trailer, we had other four other cars following, because that's how much stuff we used. But yeah, I was gonna say, this year we used almost all of my Halloween animatronics. Like all my big Spirit Halloween animatronics. Like when we went back to the storage unit to put everything back, there wasn't much left in there. There was the giant jumping spiders, of course, the Santas, and Lucas's uncle wants my dancing Santa. There was a few themes. I mean, there's a lot of little things we didn't use. Obviously, I mean, my lurching zombies shoulder pieces were in the bucket in the storage unit somewhere, so we weren't able to use those. So we looked kind of retarded. There was another box of stuff that I wanted to bring, but we just couldn't fit. When we were moving all the stuff to the house, we couldn't fit anymore, and we didn't have time to make more trips either. So yeah, we had more stuff, but we wouldn't have. I'm kind of glad we didn't, because we still wouldn't have been able to use them. We still didn't have enough batteries for everything that we did have. You know, convulsing nurses mechanism and was lost the whole time, so she was just sitting on a chair. Same with Silent and Deadly, all his poles and stuff were missing. It's all found now, and they were trying to help me reorganize and get everything in the same box, but that storage unit, you can't even walk in it right now. It's filled, so you just can't walk in it. The animatronics are completely surrounding it, but like again, during the summer we're gonna have to like organize it or something. um I'm hoping my dead wood still works. Even I mean, he's new, but like it's weird. Like after a while, he would glitch out, and he would just sit there with his eyes lighting up. He wouldn't. I would have to unplug him and plug him back in, and then he would start moving and moving his mouth again. But every few minutes he would just kind of stop and his eyes would, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm thinking maybe his adapter jack is loose. I don't know. I'm just hoping it's not actually frying because I want to use the trees every. People like the trees. My dad actually thought the trees were the coolest. Deadly Roots and Deadwood. He thought the trees were the coolest, and the Nightmare Harvester. My dad loved the Nightmare Harvester. And then of course we used the Michael Myers. I'm hoping mine doesn't quit working either because I know now that those things are kind of faulty. The motors die that make the body turn pretty quickly. They can start smoking and that'll cause the arm movement to fry. Ours stayed working and it was on continuous. And some people actually thought it was a real person. She was like, I thought it was real until I got really close to it. I was actually surprised the incinerator was working because remember it would like sometimes not go back down or sometimes when the activation is done it would just pop up randomly. And actually at first when we plugged it in it wasn't even going down at all. So I was just like, oh, it probably finally broke. But actually it started working correctly this year. The 2017 Menacing Molly was going all day, both days, continuously nonstop. Same with last year. So and she's still working. So it's pretty cool. I never got around to fixing the broken spine girl, but that'll have to be something I do next year. Oh my god! And we had wheelchair Psycho in the garage the whole time. He's like one of the animatronics we didn't get out because we kept forgetting about him or just running out of batteries. Like it kind of sucks. I don't know where we would have put him, but yeah, we just kept forgetting about him. He was in the garage. Like I said, he was in the garage the whole time, but we just never got to him. He was just in the garage the whole time, unseen, unfortunately. Uh, I'm kind of hoping to get some more zombies for our zombie display, even though we have quite a few, but like all the zombies are not in the best condition. We didn't use the second Twilight Twitcher because one of his poles were missing the whole time, so we couldn't use one of him. I used the one that I have with the cracked eye. I want the zombie from Lowe's last year. The Lurching Zombies sound got fried because we plugged in a different adapter to it. It was still a 6 volt, but it was a different 6 volt, and his sound just immediately fried. Um, Flesh Eating Zombie has a wire off his speaker, and I think the wires are broken off his Trimy slot, and he's one of the ones that don't go in the dark. You have to put a light up to his sensor for him to work. It's. I'm thinking. I'm wondering if maybe I can change out that motion sensor to one of the newer sensors that Spirit's been doing, those infrared sensors. I think it might work because that sensor is worthless and there's no continuous mode on it, so it's just never going. The jumping zombie, I don't know. I feel like either his springs are gonna break soon or his poles or it's just something. He just I just have a strange feeling about my jumping zombie. I was surprised that it did actually work, considering that it had snow in it for a while. I also want to get that one, the other jumping zombie, the one that Seasonal Visions made, the lunging one. It's called Lunging Zombie. I wanted to get the jumping clown this year too to put in the clown check. That's gonna be one I try to get next year for the tunnel probably. And a new dead humor because mine is kind of yeah. The adapter port on mine is actually really loose. I had to keep wiggling it because like last year where it kept on getting kicked, and so that kind of made the adapter jack kind of broken and loose, so it doesn't make a very good connection when you plug it in, and it doesn't work with batteries. It hasn't for years, so I don't know. I think that thing's gonna eventually die though. I really need new Rising from the Graves because my zombie. Oh my, he's another one. His poles and base were missing the whole time, and I wanted to use him even though he jumps up. My Rising from the Grave zombie literally jumps up this slow. That's how slow he jumps up. All my Rising from the Graves are like that now. Like my vampire was the worst one. Um, or their square shaft gears are split. I just need replacements of all of them. The 2010 ones were kind of shitty. They made them with really weak springs.